A question I've been asked several times in the past by viewers is, how do you load your kayak on your car roof rack? And these questions either come from people that are maybe just thinking about starting kayak fishing and are worried about how they get the kayak on the car roof rack, or they're people that have just brought a kayak and are now struggling to get it on the roof rack. And it's an understandable question and problem. These fishing kayaks that are anything from, let's say, 13-foot long to 15-foot long and weighing between, let's say, 60 and maybe 75-80 pound, it's not easy. It's not just a matter of the weight, it's the awkwardness of trying to lift these up on the roof rack. Now with my two kayaks, I've got the Thresher on the left here, which is just over 14 foot, weighs 75 pound, and then I've got the Prowler Big Game, which is just under 13 foot and weighs 70 pound. Now there is absolutely no way I could just on my own just lift these up and put them on the car roof rack. Now of course there are things you can buy on the market to assist you called kayak loaders. Some of them are bars that are an extension to your roof bar, and the idea is you put your bow on first and then lift the kayak up from the stern and slide it on the roof rack. There are other things such as suction caps, suction pads that you can put on the back of the car or somewhere on the back of the car, maybe come in pairs again, and then lift the bow up first and then slide the rest on the roof rack over these suction pads. And then for the high-sided vehicles there are quite expensive bars that literally fold down the side of the car down to the ground, and you put your kayak on these devices on the ground, and then it helps you to lift it up and get it on the roof rack. So there are things on the market. Some are fairly reasonable price and some are probably more expensive than the value of my old banger here. So going back to that question, how do I do it? Well, the way I do it is very much a DIY method. Now it's not going to suit many vehicles, but as I've been asked the question and I keep getting asked the question, I'm going to go through what I use, the method, what I use and the method that I use. Now the method I use is very much based on the lifting the bow on first and then lifting the kayak up from the stern and then sliding it on the roof rack. So what I've got here, this is some foam, and where it came from, back in my younger camping days, these were basically like matting that you put under your sleeping bag to act as a bit of a cushion. But basically all it is, it's a roller of foam, and all I've done is rolled it up, as you can see, and then tied it together with a bit of cord. But what I've also got just there is a loop, and you'll see why I've got that loop later. Now the other thing I use is this bit of rubber matting, and again this goes back to my camping days. Got it from camping outdoor shops, and basically it's like a bit of carpet that you used to put down inside the tent, just to soften up the floor and make it a bit more comfortable. But it's really tough rubber. So those are the two things that I use, and now we'll go through how I use them. So as said, the method I use is very much lift the bow on first and then lift the kayak up from the stern and then slide it onto your roof rack. Now I've got a hatchback car, so this DIY method that I use suits this car. So the first thing I do is take my roll of foam, and then what I need to do is I'm going to position that about here on the back of the car, and what I've got this little loop for is just so that I can just hook it around the rear windscreen wiper just to keep it in place. Right, so that's that in place, and so what will happen is I'll lift the bow of the kayak up onto that and rest it on there. But then of course I need to protect the back windscreen and the top of the car. So all I do is take my bit of heavy duty rubber matting and just position that in the position where I'm going to slide the kayak up onto the roof rack. Right, so the kayak's on its wheels, so all I do is just take hold of the handle at the bow and then wheel it up and then just rest it on the bit of foam. And then next, all I need to do is lift the kayak up from the stern and then just slide it up onto the roof rack. And that's it, it's on, as simple as that. Now the taking off of the kayak is just going to be the reverse of the putting it on. So all I do is, again, when I get down to the launch site, I put my matting in position, I put my roll of foam in position, and then just take the kayak and then just slide it off until the stern here hits the ground, and then all I need to do is just literally lift the kayak off. So that's it, that's the way I do it. Very much DIY. Obviously won't suit some vehicles, but suits me. It's cheap, it's easy, and it works. So hopefully, for those of you that have wondered how I do it, that has answered the question. So once again, I hope you found that useful, and many thanks for watching.